So some of the common pitfalls that organizations find themselves in when they implement a digital strategy. So on the screen, I put a red circle around one word, and that word is systems, because people automatically assume that when we have an implementation, that's where the focus is going to be, right? But what else are we missing? What else do we need to define when we put the plans together for implementation and training? So what are does anybody have an example of what they missed in terms of an implementation? An opportunity to improve for the next time? Well, one thing that I can say is that, and this comes from ProSci, it's the change impact list. It's 10, but these are the things that you need to consider when you absolutely timescale. Thank you. These are the things that we need to consider when we are implementing a change. The tools, are they the same, or do we need something different? Within the tool set themselves, do we need additional training? Job roles, are we going from 5 roles to now 2? And what are we going to do with the other 3? You don't want to have the message out there that we're downsizing, or we're letting people go. So it's going to be, okay, now we need to redistribute your role to something else. And does that role need additional training? Critical behaviors, do they exist now? Is there something we need to help identify and train? Attitudes, mindsets, and beliefs, very, very important. Again, having a culture that is okay with change, it's expected, it's all right to ask questions, to give the feedback that they need, to make sure that these decisions are made using the best, most accurate information. That is very, very important. Reporting structure. So again, if I have 5 roles and now I'm down to 2 roles, how does that reporting structure work? The expectations, are there performance evaluation criteria that's now changed? People, again, I've said this before, people don't come to work to do a bad job. They want to be part of a solution. But in order for that to happen, they have to understand their role. Yes, I understand that this is changing, but what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my level of influence? And how can I help now? How can I bring some information to the table that might help something or someone down the line? Compensation, I don't know if that'll change, but that's something that people are, want to know too. And location, as I mentioned earlier, I have another client that, they have 3 locations. Now we're going to one company, right? So how does all that move into the sphere for planning? You have 3 different cultures. Now we're trying to create one culture. So how does all that work within the change? And then the processes themselves, of course, understanding where your current state is, walking the teams through how each of the stakeholders are interacting with each other, and then identifying the pains, identifying the issues, identifying the requirements. So all of that information can help to transition into the future state for success. And I know one thing on here that isn't really here, but it's important to understand the targets and the goals and the KPIs. That, to me, data speaks. So that will tell us and gauge on how we're moving through the change. But that information is built from this information. So again, understanding, level setting, making sure that we have a good grasp of our business ecosystem. Got to say that again. It's a bigger thing. It's not just a system. Is very, very important. Yes, absolutely. I see the comments and I agree. How do you build trust amongst the team so that that will bring up issues? Well, that's a great question. I actually have that happen to me quite often. And the root cause, that in my experience, is that people don't take enough time to really understand the people in the process that are being impacted. Again, I've said it 10,000 times. People don't come to work to do a bad job. They want to be part of the solution. So getting feedback, having integrity in your follow-up, making sure that you're communicating every step of the way is very, very important. You don't want people to be in the midst of a change and not know what's going on, not understanding the end goal, not understanding how this is going to impact them, because that really just creates that fear, right? And then that fear creates resistance. Personally, I'd rather get ahead of it and ask the questions up front, as opposed to seeing the disruptors or disruptions and the resistance building, and then us going in to understand why. And again, a lot of times it stems from the fear of, right? The fear of the unknown, the fear of not understanding the change, the fear of possibly losing my job, the fear of, do I have to learn a new skill? Am I ready to learn a new skill? So all of that has definitely been some of the root causes that I've experienced within a change resistance activity that we've been able to address at third stage.